Yabeda yambofo na se ebrei mu se wamsam yenya kwanya ewo nanim. In our last previous episodes, we have dealt with the fact to say nia prevailing ewo yen wiase mprempren no back in the 1800s. The Middle East was brewing. And we'll continue to watch events unfold. And then the necessary aspect, but there's a component which is very, very important. I always say but not now. But then now we have dealt with the Eastern question in general. You are discussing Eastern question in prim. At the end of I have dealt with that. But then man specify exactly this one I ever come once him. We are going to talk about Iran in Bible prophecy. You read our say. Brace ni eba bision one day. Na mo konkono wa ho den so be chire oh Jesus Christ de monti. Amen. Iran in Bible prophecy. Is Iran found in Bible prophecy? It in final events, but you heard the historical concept and then try to project it into the future and see where Iran fits as far as Bible prophecy and future events are concerned. Said the Beya and Komodia air course for the past 3 or 4 weeks concerning Iran, America, Israel, and Yawawa. And then you be who say it just say all of these events and its connection and the be free more but the outcome it is so important. The outcome the be free more bano that is what we are going to look at. And I begin with this quote. Right, woman, your friend Christ in his sanctuary, Christo 1 in Tuma Demo, page 99, paragraph 3. Also, the study of the revelation directs the minds to the prophecies of Daniel. Mean a dear somewhere, but I didn't call Daniel and woman so. Ti adisuya a fair dear commission a dear some honor, a chia junico and come share what Daniel. And both present most important instruction. Nimienu yi kokobon sem kese. Giving the wiase ebe konewiye. Nyamema e wiase no e konewiye na interesting things are happening. Now, I'm not going to deal with that in details, but then fresh information I'm gather right now. HRS Brazil passe Sunday rest law are more restricted commercial activities on Sunday. I'm going to deal with that in our future discussion, but that is the little update. Happy I'm a person about testimonies to teachers and gospel workers. Teachers, ministers, and gospel workers. Page 116. I want to say, study revelation in connection with Daniel for history. For history will repeat itself. So and this and Daniel woman apakosem bebrea esino esabesini husubio. And we've discussed 1888 is so key. Senyama esisi yen sabesini husubio. So let's take note of that. Enti yen komodie no pompon so no ewo the book of Daniel. So you're better from the historical context. We had Iran, but now you're friend Iran, of course. Now you heard the role I will play in history. And then you heard in the future. Dachi say, does Iran have something to do with future? Sending to quiet cause one we will look at that. Your key text. Daniel chapter 11, verse 44. Daniel Tidubako in Chichemu Edianai Enai. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. And some way free a puye any etifi ebehano. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy before and utterly make away many will be ye every hole. Now you key components. Oh, Sanyi to some Daniel 11 verse 44. Tidings in general, the news and some east a prayer, north a TV shall destroy him. To him, all of these personalities are very key in understanding final events. Now, what is interesting is that Daniel 11:44. Now, just one verse. Now, don't put more to. Just one verse, Daniel 11:45. Now, don't put more to. And the news bang somebody never free a poyaba. And yet, if you by be hano, no, is it not important? Is it not relevant? It is. And none the previous episodes, and I made this point to say, verse we get to 44 hunts and someone, any verse 40, 40, 42, 43, hunts and someone. And yes, exclusive to young paying some kwan, young paying some kwan, a year witness it. No. Till I'm changing it is the happenings. Say, Ellen White and her people were discussing the Middle East. No one described it as the Eastern question. Now, once they discussed the Middle East, does that not mean that they understood Daniel 11 verse 44, what constituted the tidings, what constituted East, what constituted North, what constituted him in Daniel 11:44? It means that they knew it. Why? Because in 1888, they were standing on the borders of heavenly Canaan. They were just a verse away from the close of probation. Just need to assemble and anaka. Now don't promote in 1888. So were they oblivious of the happenings or what? The interpretation of Daniel 11 verse 44? No, they were not oblivious. Because Bible say that for nim set nani abre no nim set ni bre eyeti anti wodi na dem mo dene to deceive if possible the very elect and put the way you want. So we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised. But what we need to do is say we go back to history, we study, and then we unfold, we unlock, we understand. Sansamoa, it is Iran in history. Where do we find Iran? Oshaho Abakosemu. In the past, it wasn't called Iran. But your friend is saying, na your friend of mine, Persia. Persia. In the Persia, your modern day Iran. Persia, your modern day Iran. Iran now is it has gone through several stages. I know your friend Iran. Now, where do we find Persia? Daniel, Revelation. You call Daniel chapter 2. Verse 1. I'm not going to deal with Daniel chapter 2 in detail. We are just going to sap the role of Persia, our play a role in Bible prophecy, Kakrebi. Then we link it to Daniel chapter 11, verse 24. By the way, after these episodes, you better discuss Daniel chapter 11 in details because this is a no-go area. Daniel 11. We will discuss that verse by verse. Not kind of verse by verse. Now you're unlucky because there's so much confusion out there. Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar honitenteno. What did he see? Verse 1, verse 4, verse 30 says, or see. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams. So that wherewith his spirit was troubled and his sleep broke from him. Verse 4. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac. O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream and we will show the interpretation. Today, Nebuchadnezzar he calls the Nyansa for Mumbra. And also the Nanyankoda, Chile Diana say, can I any near French the Munya de Bay? Amra. Verse 30 says, or say, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof. You said, Daniel Ninian by Eba be ye a hinta somewhat, said be on him a hinta not dream, a ye Diana, no man chimo. So this is the dreamer Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel chapter 2, verse 31 to 33. What say? Thou, O king, sawest, behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. Verse 32. This image's head was of fine gold. His breast and his arms of silver. Enti na beti no. So hane ne boso no na eye yawa. His belly and his thighs of brass. Cobre. Sebe ni belly ni yam ene na sre no eye cobre. And then verse 33, his legs of iron and nine sebe eye dadie. His feet part of iron and part of clay. The nine seno eye dadie, a fire dadie, and a fancy ye netie. Verse 34. Thou sawest still a stone which smote the image upon his feet. To whom say a bobiate every esoro na ababe pim ne nayase na ayam ni muhumuhu. Inti daya Nebuchadnezzar eson ye no. Where do we find Iran? Ana yem friend Iran near friend of Persia. Daniel gives the interpretation. Now, okay, Daniel chapter 2 verse 38 I will say, thou art his head of gold. Enti etrena na yesi kakoko ne gina homa Nebuchadnezzar na hinia ne ye friend of the Babylon. So after Babylon itinu, now then sat his arm and the breast ne koko no ejina homa de. Verse 39, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee. Enti wubre echi na ahinia enru wodie no, but ya ahinia is a kingdom ebe sorry. Enti sa ahinia tosum mienu no eno ena Bible efre no Mid and Persia, because also na nsane mienu. So two arms. Enti na ye Mido ene Persia ahinia no. Middle Persia. Persia and your friend of modern day Iran. And Iran has been very instrumental in Bible prophecy. Now that is Daniel chapter 2. He makes mention of the second kingdom called Medes and Persia. Now you go to Daniel chapter 7. The same Medes and Persia again repeating what says sin in Daniel chapter 7 verse 1 and 3. Where you die swan Daniel nanka. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Eti senior Daniel, sikakoko, jute, cobre, now dadie, sa anayano, sana infoni krona in Daniel chapter 7. Eti Daniel actually in Daniel chapter 7 verse 4 say, the first was like a lion, tididi kind of jata. The second like a bear, sisire. The third was like a leopard. Leopard, yeah, they sebo. And then the fourth, they went in yanchere. Into a musu nine, and one any yinano, watch let's say, Nina so a ahini. Ti Daniel 2, Daniel 7. And Tiahinia etosu mienu. No, na a debe, na a osisire, a bear. Sa osisire ahiniano. Daniel echere. Say Ejnoma, Daniel chapter 7 verse 17 and 23 was say, these great beasts which are four kings. Again verse 23 was say, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom. Enti emwananya wo hu ye no, de di kan jata, de toso osisire, de toso osebo ene enan no, waye hu wontimi chon. Na no so gina ma ahini enan. Enti if Daniel chapter 2, ahini toso mienu no, na ye Mido ene Persia, ene abo toso mienu oye osisire no. Na ononso ye debe clearly na enonso eye Mid any Persia ahini no ko free Daniel chapter 2 kan no e free Nebuchadnezzar ahini so na ahini etoso mienu ye debe sorry I think the Bible no kra no e be kire ase ama ye clear na won samfoni ne krona in Daniel chapter 8 verse 1. In the third year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel. Nti Belshazzar ahini mu nso no me say nya ni so ade ebi na ohun die I saw a ram which had two horns. Itimi hu abo papo a owo memem mienu. Verse 5 ohun he goat odwanini ana pontinini and he goat came and the he goat had a notable horn between his eyes. No abeben kese pa ebo neni ha neni no ha ho na abeben kese pa ebo ho now and also watch last year. And also watch last year. Daniel chapter 8 verse 20. Was it the ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia? So clear. And Daniel 2:1 said that modi obo Babylon kwa. Daniel chapter 7 wa modi but Daniel 8 there was say that time no na Babylon hini akwaria ma yewura yeko Babylon hini ni kwaria Belshazzar prince na Babylon hini ni kwaria na yewura hini etoso mienu mu was say Ojantin na ohun ye no hwan o see sorry odwan na ohun ye no ejina a wa bebe mienu no ejina homa Media and Persia ahemfo so 2 kingdoms put together iti Medo Persia anoni ahini a etoso mienu to call Daniel chapter 2 a eye ohoni no ne nsa ene ne bo ne chest no so ohun ai gina oma gete okọ Daniel chapter 7 a na Media ne Persia no ejina ho ema osisire ena okọ Daniel chapter 8 a ogina ho ma opapo so clear. So Persia has been very key in Bible prophecy, very, very instrumental in Bible prophecy. Now we find that again in Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11 verse by verse. No. In Daniel 11 verse 2. Also in the first year of Darius the Mede. Him said Darius ne take over Babylon he ne bury Belshazzar prince. We are going to read that very soon. Even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. Verse 2. And now I will tell thee the truth. In the Media, Medo Persia, he will say, behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia. This is Persia. Iran, no. I don't know more than the Iran. Bible never can once no. So Iran has been very pivotal. Iran has been very instrumental in the history of nations. It was once a powerful kingdom. That is the pointer. There shall, and the foe shall be far richer than they, and by his strength, blah, 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 blah. So the pointer may try making it say, Persia, he knew, no, and a friend more than the Iran, no. In other words, Iran has been very instrumental because it was once a powerful kingdom. Na eba na wieye ema ahini etoso miensa said the Bible ne kan Greece ahini baaye ena ahini etoso 9 ena mfie bebre echi no ene reduce it to that small tiny little place your friend Iran ye hwe japade bia that time one middle ni pressure be di wi as japade kese japade a omode ma wi ase na me kan o me be friend the story of Daniel the prophet, powerful book. Page 184, paragraph 1. Just a single line. I'll say, Babylon enslaved the bodies of God's people. They said, you name the book and is a no. The Babylon did not 70-year captivity. They made laws to slay them. Yes. Shamra. Yes, in the days of Esther, Ahasuerus. Haman, Mordecai, yes, kill them. In Revelation chapter 13, Japadia Cassia Mid and Persia and the Mayan. More than they ran. Japadia legacy, say young Shessa young Kubi. Death penalties. Omune de Sanchez say any baby, make laws. Ni kudipa kuwe di omo ye no enti yenyi omo free we should exterminate them. A Japadia, that is the major legacy they gave us. They gave the world. Very, very important. Apart from that, Persia ni midi fonsu di juma kese boa ma nyame juma ne bo hye koso. Yes. So a positive and negative. 500 years answer na yebe Cyrus okra no na Isaiah hye no come. Cyrus will be pivotal in leading God's people back to Jerusalem. 70-year captivity no. A trend free Babylon ko ra Medo Persia. Ti Persia penso and Israel for starting say will free ho akọ back akọ chichiri Jerusalem. I'm going to read those few verses. Very